Just when you thought you had seen everything with Seaworld Entertainment, well, we're proven wrong again. Because they have announced yet more new for 2023 additions. And in this video, I'm going to be looking over all the new for 2023 rides for the Seaworld chain and talking about, are they good investments? I've made separate videos for some of these rides already, and I'll link that playlist in the end screen, but I will go over them briefly right now. Dart Coaster, coming to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, is an indoor motorbike roller coaster that I think is going to be a fun attraction. It's not going to be one of the best rides in the park, but with that being said, I still think it's going to be a very enjoyable ride, twisting in the darkness. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty solid addition for Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and I'm glad they're adding a new roller coaster. But obviously, Busch Gardens Williamsburg is not the only park in the Seaworld chain to receive a new coaster for next year. Let's go down the East Coast a bit to Seaworld Orlando for their new B&M Surf Coaster. I have my questions about this ride, but it will provide a unique experience no doubt, and the experience of being launched while you're standing should be an interesting one. However, there are yet more. So, let's go to SeaWorld San Diego for their new roller coaster, Arctic Rescue. This is a very similar ride to the previously mentioned Dart Coaster, but this one you ride on snowmobiles instead. Plus, the ride is outdoors and not indoors. It's clear that this ride is very similar to Wavebreaker, since that they don't even have a real animation for this ride in the announcement video, they just have footage of Wavebreaker, which I think is kind of funny. At any rate, this is not going to be a groundbreaking attraction at all, but will it be fun? Absolutely, I think it will be a good time. It is a little interesting to me though, that this roller coaster is so similar to Manta. I mean, what is Manta? Well, it's a family-friendly multi-launch roller coaster, just like Arctic Rescue. In fact, I would have to make the argument that Arctic Rescue was not a good addition for this park if they didn't have the seating arrangement that Arctic Rescue has, because that ride has a unique seating arrangement in comparison to Manta, which makes it stand out. And for that reason, while I think there are better additions to this park, I think it's a pretty solid addition to SeaWorld San Diego, and I don't have any major problems with it. As for Arctic Rescue, it features 2,800 feet of track and reaches a top speed of 40 miles an hour. So yeah, this is not the most extreme ride out there. But coming off a B&M dive coaster, I think it is completely fine to add a family coaster after adding a major thrill ride. This will also be SeaWorld San Diego's, wait for it, 4th roller coaster since 2018. I mean, that's more than Cedar Point has added in that time. It's becoming more evident that SeaWorld is now entirely in on the ride game, especially the roller coasters, because they just keep adding roller coasters like crazy. And while only one of SeaWorld's roller coasters that was planned for 2020 actually opened in 2020, there was still 5 coasters planned for that year. So overall for Arctic Rescue, I think it's going to be a very fun ride and a good addition to this park. Like I said of Dart Coaster, it's not going to be anything groundbreaking, but these motorbike style coasters are going to be pretty fun. Now let's get to the real intriguing news, SeaWorld San Antonio's 2023 edition. Almost surprisingly, it isn't a roller coaster. In fact, it's the world's first launched, as they're calling it, flume coaster. So this kind of looks like a glorified shoot-to-shoot / log flume ride, but it has a launch. Like, how cool is that? They market it as the first one, and I definitely believe them. I can't think of any other examples of a launched water ride. Now, the question, does this count as a roller coaster? Okay, so I know chains are always marketing rides as roller coasters, even if they're not. Take Six Flags and their Super Loops, for example, and yeah, I don't think this is a roller coaster. It has a launch, yes, and some log flumes do count as roller coasters, but those rides actually have roller coaster track. From what I can see from this animation, there isn't any actual roller coaster track. I mean, if there was going to be roller coaster track, you might expect it to be on the launch section, but even that doesn't look like roller coaster track to me, and if it just has the same type of ride system as a log flume or shoot-the-chutes would, then I don't think that counts as a roller coaster. But, I mean, marketing it as a flume coaster is probably better than marketing it as a shoot-the-chutes, so I completely understand that. On another note, all these rides we've talked about all have launches, which is just kind of an interesting thing, especially coming off the back of a couple launch coasters like Pantheon and the Skyrocket 2 coasters not too long ago. So this intrigues me. Does SeaWorld have a thing for launch coasters? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe that's what they're just adding right now. That's possible. But either way, and I know I said the B&M Surf Coaster was very intriguing, I think this is the most intriguing new ride for SeaWorld Entertainment. There's so many things about Catapult Falls that intrigue me. The steep drop, the launch, the spiral lift hill. And one of the biggest problems I've heard with this park is that it's too big for its own good, and that they need more rides. Well, this is certainly a ride for you. And it's going to be a very interesting ride to watch it be built and eventually get on it. So, the question, did SeaWorld Entertainment make good 2023 investments? I think mostly yes, but we're going to have to come back to this question a few years from now, because SeaWorld is dealing with multiple prototypes here, and we know how prototypes in the ride business can go sometimes. They don't always go that well. It's very easy to run into problems on these, and since they're adding 2 prototype attractions, that could bode lots of money down the line. That's why I say we'll have to come back and look at these rides a few years from now and see how reliable they've been. But for Dark Coaster and Arctic Coaster, I think those rides will do just fine because they're not a new ride type, so I think those are proven winners. So there you have it, the major rides that SeaWorld Entertainment is adding for the 2023 season. I tell you what, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how these rides go, because there's a lot of cool stuff.